Everyone knows Aston Martin. Founded in 1913, the iconic British sports car manufacturer has been making some of the best looking and sounding sports cars to date. Their entry car here, the Vantage, is no exception. To me, it is the best looking car in the industry today. So let's start with a few reasons why the Vantage should be on your list of sports cars. If you are shopping for one, and good for you if you are. Congratulations. First off, let's start on the outside. Looks are critical on a car, and thankfully the Vantage has them. To me, it looks like a fighter jet, ready for takeoff. And that fighter jet feeling continues on the inside, but more on that in a bit. This particular color combination of red and black is very striking, especially when you add that mesh grille on the front. And then moving around to the rear of the car, the quad tailpipes make for some lovely engine notes. See what I mean? And the arrow work on the back ties it all together. And then my favorite part, the subtle tail and taillight combination. Now that is some functional design. This Vantage is got to be one of the best looking cars on the market today. And you need any reassurance, just take a look at the rear of this car, because that's a rear I can get behind. It's fantastic. It is the best in the industry. The engine in this car, a V8, which is glorious, comes from Mercedes-AMG. It pumps out just about 500 horses, and it sounds fantastic thanks to the tuning by Aston Martin. They still were able to tune and modify it to their own specifications, and it's just a gnarly, I'm at a loss for words. It's just fantastic. Put in that Sport Plus mode, it growls and it gurgles, and it's a crowd pleaser driving through town and stuff for sure. Now, obviously, being an Aston Martin and a Vantage, it has a performance side as well. And it's fitted with some gigantic brakes. I would say probably about a medium cheese pizza up front. And in the back, probably maybe like a small Domino's carryout for some big stopping power. I should also mention they're carbon ceramic, so squeaky until you get them warmed up, and be ready for that brake dust. Woof! Especially on those black wheels. You got to keep them clean 24/7. But if you can afford a Vantage, you can afford to do that. So let's talk about where you're going to be spending most of your time, which is exactly right where I'm sitting. So inside here, it's quite nice, but also there's a few things. All digital displays up here, which are really nice. Buttons on the steering wheel are easily accessible. The top S button is your sport mode, so it rounds out Sport, Sport Plus, or Track. There's also a suspension button over here for Sport, Sport Plus, or Track. And I have to say, I was prepared for this car to be a fairly rough ride, but I'm on some lovely back roads here with a lot of bumps in them, and it is a great ride. I'm not, there's a bump right there, but that wasn't too bad. But overall, I'm not like cringing for holes or potholes or things like that. It actually is a very smooth, confident ride. And I'm very surprised about that. And it pleases me to be like, that's nice. They've put a lot of thought into the suspension and the modes of the engine and things to make it the most comfortable ride. But also, you could take it to the track and rip into it and have a lot of fun. So what else we have in here? The steering wheel. I love the steering wheel. I'm going to steal the word from Tim Stevens. It's a squircle. It's a square circle steering wheel. I love it. The paddle shifters are gigantic. You can't miss them. Like I said, the buttons are easily identifiable, but the only thing that gets me wrong with the design of the steering wheel is the center is really rather large, and the Aston Martin logo is really tiny. And I think, British people would love to be proud about this car. We need to stretch that logo out, make it 3 times bigger. It's huge. The center, it can accommodate that. So I think that's my only gripe with the center of the steering wheel here. But then let's talk about the middle here. Now back to that fighter jet feel. This center console certainly looks the part of a fighter jet with the number of buttons it has. Yes, real buttons. So if you love buttons, this center console is for you. Your favorite one to press should be the glowing start button, along with the gear buttons. Both a very nice touch. Moving up to the screen, it would be nice if it was a touch screen, but it makes sense that it isn't thanks to another Mercedes partnership in the form of the infotainment system. If you have been in or own a Mercedes, the rotary dial and trackpad will look very familiar. Personally, I'm not a huge fan. Too many steps to do simple functions. And thankfully, most functions can be done with the push of a button. You know, the seats are fairly comfortable. They actually have heated and cooled seats in here, so while I've been driving this on this fairly warm week, the cooled seats have been a welcome addition to this car. For a sports car, it has a decent amount of storage inside. Open the back hatch and there's plenty of room for a grocery run, luggage, and if you put the flap down, perhaps some golf clubs. So, should the Vantage have a spot in your driveway? I think it should. The price point is steep, $150,000 entry fee, but for what you get, I think it's worth it. You get fantastic German efficiency and performance in the engine, but you get British beauty in perhaps the best looking car among its competitors and the entire market today. This Aston Martin Vantage. What more could you ask for? That right there is enough to buy the car for me, right? The crackles, the gurgles. That'll do. That'll do. That'll do. That'll do.